Hey guys, it's Ian at SS8000 Cars, and this time of the year there's generally not that much on in terms of taking your car to Cars and Coffee or events that might be on around the country. But for me it is quite an exciting time because, believe it or not, we've just taken delivery of our Panamera E-Hybrid, which is now outside the front of the house and looking pretty good, and I'm going to do a full review on this over the next few weeks. So today I'm going to use the computer, but today I'm sitting in the kitchen and I've got all my crib sheets and I want to talk about the Porsche 911 GT3. Now, the GT3 was ordered almost a year ago, so almost to a point where it would have been nice to have had it last year, but I still consider myself very fortunate to be getting one at all. And it's in production now and due to come out of production on the 12th of February. So it's really quite close. Then takes, say, a couple of weeks, if the Panamera delivery is anything to go by, to get through Germany out to the port and then wing its way to Hatfield. It goes to Reading first, where they do the pre-delivery checks, and then it's lorried out to the individual dealers, and in my case that's Hatfield. So under normal circumstances I'd be expecting to get the GT3 around the end of February. Perfect timing really, in a way, because of course the new reg starts on the 1st of March. But I'm having a couple of things done to it at Reading, which I'm going to keep quiet about right now because I'd like them to be a bit of a surprise when you see them. And they're actually being conducted by the importer, Porsche Reading. So the car's going to be with them probably 2 to 3 weeks, I imagine. So it may well be mid to third week in March, perhaps, before we actually see the car. But nevertheless, very exciting. I may well go down to Reading to have a quick look at it if I'm here. So if I do, I'll take the camera and I'll film it. If I don't, I'll get to see it when it's delivered to Hatfield. But incredibly exciting, I have to say. And I have read so many good reports about the GT3 from Autocar, who actually said it was possibly the best and most exciting sports car on sale today, but I think they were including quite a number of the supercars in that category as well. To the individual reports that I've read in Top Gear magazine and Evo and the like. So today I want to go through the specification with you, everything but the two things that are being done at Reading, which we'll keep in abeyance for the moment. Okay, what colour am I having it in? Now look, I had a great deal of fun trying to work out what colour the car would be best in. I went to Miami blue, I went to carmine red, I looked at GT silver. I do really like GT silver. For those of you that saw my very brief video on a friend of mine's manual GT3, which was delivered well before Christmas, that's in GT silver, and the GT silver against the black. So the black side skirts, the black trim round the rear spoiler, the black round the front spoiler, and of course the black wheels. I just think it looks epic. So I was very tempted to go for GT silver, but in the end I decided, well, Julian had already chosen that, so it probably wasn't appropriate. So what I'm going for is agate grey. So I had my Porsche Turbo Macan in the agate, and I think it's a really nice colour. So hopefully with some of the touches that I'm intending to do, I think it'll look nice. I'm going for the black leather interior package. I'm going to do this with the option contrast seams in red, and red's going to be a bit of the theme on the car, as you'll see as we go through the list. Having the LED headlights, of course, but in black, So that's with the dynamic light system, which is offered on all Porsches today. Privacy glass going for both the rear screen and the two side screens. So I think that's quite important in a way for me, because I'm not going for the roll bar. Now, I made that decision a couple of months ago, because I decided, although I will take it on the track, I'm just not going to have it on the track the whole time. So I want the extra room in the rear. I want to be able to do continental trips in this. I want to be able to take it to the south of France with all the bits. And you can get so much stuff behind the seats. So that sort of in some way leads me on nicely to the sports bucket seats. Now, I've gone for the sports seats simply because, rather than the full buckets, because they have the carbon shell and they're not quite as grippy as the full bucket seats, but they're 99% there. But they do two things that's quite important for us. Heated seats. I'll never get my wife in the car unless there's heated seats. And also they fold. So if I'm to take advantage of all the extra luggage space in the back, which I'm going to have, there's a massive amount of room there, I need to be able to get things in and out the back reasonably easy. Having the fuel filler cap in aluminium. Now, a lot of you might think, well, that's a complete waste of time because nobody can see it. I think it's just a nice touch. Excuse me, I'm going to have a slurp of coffee. I think that's just a really nice touch. And even if it's only ever me that sees it, it always is one of those things that gives you a little bit of a feel-good factor. Going for the 20-inch GT911 GT3 wheels, but I'm also going with them painted satin black and with the outer edge painted in guards. So basically they're all black, but the outer edge of the rim is in guards red. And I think against the grey, because the grey in itself is not the most exciting colour out there, I think that's what I need to do. Is if I'm choosing the grey, I need to be able to pick up on some of the elements on the car that sort of differentiate it between that and another car. In line with the touring capacity that I want to use the car for, I'm going for a number of features which are more comfort orientated, shall we say. So the cruise control, the automatic dimming mirrors with integrated rain sensor. I'm going for the light storage package. I'm having the 12 o'clock marking on the Alcantara steering wheel in guards, which I think will be quite nice. Again, there's a balance between doing this stuff and not doing too much, and I'm doing my best to try and make that so. In line with the Panamera, I've also gone with the silver grey seat belts. It's just it's a colour out of the blue really, in the cabin, because there'll be nothing else in white, but I felt that it was something I'd done in the Panamera, and I thought I'm going to do it in the GT3 as well. And then, as I think I mentioned in the Panamera, I can't resist the leather. So I've gone for the extra dashboard trim in leather. I've gone for the sun visors in leather, the steering column casing in leather. Most of these things I had done in the Panamera, which gives me the advantage of being able to see what actually it means, because you can't really be absolutely sure. For example, with the steering column casing in leather, which bits it does, and funnily enough, it doesn't do the actual wheel element itself. It's immediately behind the wheel element. The transmission tunnel is going to be in leather, and obviously, as I said, you have to opt for the leather interior with the stitching in red as a separate item, even although you have to have it. And then additional Alcantara. The standard leather package comes with Alcantara across the underneath of the dash. Okay, so below the middle trim where I will have the carbon fiber strips, You have all that is Alcantara. The doors are leather and Alcantara, but I've also gone with the full carbon interior package with leather interior, which I think will look nice. That's the strips across the doors, the strips in the middle of the center console. I'm going for the Bose surround system again. This time that's the only option on the GT3, and I'm going for a digital radio. I think it makes sense to have the digital radio if they're going to switch it off, and of course you can never be sure of these things because ultimately they will switch it off, the analog system. So it would be a real nuisance if you didn't have the digital radio at that point. One of the things that I didn't cover was the front axle lift system. Quite important for me that, in a way, because I'm always going over bumps in town. When I go down into the car park that I park in town it has a steep slope downwards, and on the GT4 I am forever scraping the rubber guard around the spoiler. Now in truth, I understand that rubber guard is easily replaceable, but if you run your hand along the bottom of my GT4 spoiler, it is really rough. So at some stage, if I keep the car, I'm going to have to deal with. I also went for the chrono package, which gives you the preparation for the lap trigger. So that's the ability to be able to take lap times and look at other people's lap times on your laptop. I went through and completely missed out the chrono stopwatch in Guards Red, and I think that'll look rather nice, especially with the center red marking on the Alcantara steering wheel. I'm not going for the carbon ceramic brakes. Now, I wasn't sure whether this was a good idea. I'd certainly listened to Andreas Proininja, the boss of GT cars, Porsche GT cars, based in Weissach, who said that basically if you were going to do lots of track work, you shouldn't get ceramics because they're too expensive to replace, so go with the standard brakes. But because they lower the weight on each corner of the car, go with them if the car's going to be for road use. Now, my car is going to be for road use in the main, but I still decided in GT4 the brakes are stupendous, and they were based upon the 991 first generation brakes. I see no reason why I would need more. Now maybe on the track you'll get fade a bit quicker. I don't know. We'll see, but it's quite an expensive option. So I think getting on for £7,000. So I've decided to leave that off the list. So overall, the other thing that I forgot to mention in my rush was the door sills in carbon. I think that contrasts nicely with the carbon across the dash, the doors and the center console. So hopefully that'll look good as well. And overall, I think that sort of covers the spec on the GT3. It's going to be incredibly exciting. I'm looking forward to it enormously, and I'm hoping that all goes to plan and everything is set up nicely. But I should also, the other thing that I wanted to mention was, with a bit of luck, I will be able to go up to Silverstone for the Porsche Experience Centre to have a go in the GT3 over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So that'll be quite fun. Just a question mark over whether I'm here. That's always the problem with me, is fitting these things in between the day job and what I'm actually enjoying doing. But looking forward to it. I'll definitely do the Silverstone Experience Centre if A, I'm allowed to, and B, I can fit it in. And then hopefully in a month or so's time we'll be doing the launch. And at the launch, there are a couple of surprises that I've sort of kept back here, which I hope you'll like as well. All right, guys, well, it's Ian from SS8000 Cars signing off. Hope you enjoyed the video.